have to get back to talking about what is the value proposition of our products. It is not fucking AI.
You misunderestimate the bullshit of marketing, my friend. You know.
Hello and welcome to the Rose and Rockstar from the Rockstar CMO effing Marketing Podcast and the Marketing Podcast Network. I'm your host, Ian Truscott, Managing Partner at Velocity B, a B2B sales and marketing advisory firm. It's Saturday the 11th of October, and in a moment I'll join my chum Robert Rose, Chief Troublemaker at 7th Bear, in our virtual bar, the Rose and Rockstar, where, over one of his fabulous cocktails, I'll pick his brains on a marketing topic that is top of mind for me. This week, we dive into the wonderful annual Content Marketing Institute's B2B Content and Marketing Trends Report that Robert was the lead analyst on this year, and we pick out some of the key trends. But first, we need to pay the bar tab. I'll be back in a moment.
We'll be right back.
We'll be right back. Marketers, Deborah Eckerling here.
And I'm Keith Smith, and we host the MPN Meta Marketing Show, which is not just another marketing podcast, but the marketing podcast about all the other marketing podcasts.
Podcasts are booming, right? We love them, and people actually listen. They don't scroll, they don't swipe, well, except maybe during the ad breaks.
But here's the secret. With the Marketing Podcast Network, your ads don't make people hit skip. We put your brand on shows that people actually want to hear.
That's right. We match your message with podcasts that make marketing nerds like us perk up and take notes, or at least nod knowingly, pretending they understand.
And don't worry, because we'll deliver your ad naturally. People might even think that we love your brand personally, which of course we totally do, unless it's a veggie smoothie, then maybe not.
If you want your brand heard without making listeners roll their eyes,
head to marketingpodcasts.net and catch marketing fans at work, rest and play. Seriously, your audience is already listening. Make sure they hear your brand and not our awkward jokes.
Join the conversation, because good ads shouldn't just be tolerated, they should be enjoyed.
Yes!
This episode is brought to you by Paramount Plus. Paramount Plus has movies. So many movies. The movies you've seen 1,000 times and could watch 1,000 more. Iconic movies your friends can't believe you haven't seen. New movies, classic movies, new takes on classic movies. So whether you're into Top Gun or The Naked Gun, Mean Girls or Mission Impossible, Smurfs or Sonic the Hedgehog, there's a mountain of movies to discover on Paramount Plus. Start streaming today.
Hello, my friend. Welcome to the bar.
Thank you very much, mate. How are you doing?
I'm doing remarkably well, I should say.
Good.
I mean, it's the weekend, so always good. All my business taxes are done, so I don't have to do anything this weekend other than relax, do some cooking, and play some football. Or not play some football, but watch some football. So I'm a happy guy. Yeah, like
nice.
My to-do list is short.
Yeah, nice. And it's always the company admin that sort of collides with the weekend, doesn't it? You never quite get around to it during the week. So if you don't have to do any company admin over the weekend, it's fantastic. Yeah.
And I do have some things to do. There's no so to be clear, like when I say my to-do list is short, my to-do list is infinite, right? My to-do list is never complete. So there are things for me to do, but the way I have judged my days with both clients and sort of the admin work is how critical is it that I get it done, right? And if it, so it's one of those things like, if none of it got done this weekend, it would still be okay, right? But if I'm around, and I will be around, let's be clear, spending a couple of hours doing some of my admin work and some of the other stuff will be happy making, because it's fine. I can put something on in the background, put some good music on, just do some stuff and spend a couple hours doing that. So that's what I consider sort of not doing any work.
It's not, but that's the thing, isn't it? When you hang your own shingle, it's like is an inexhaustible beast, isn't it? You have to be very conscious about spending some time, giving yourself your own time, because every day could be a work day, right? So it's always the way.
Well, that's correct. Yeah. It is sort of what you gain in control. In terms of you're being your own boss and being able to do things when you choose to do them, you lose in terms of sort of compartmentalization. Let's put it that way, right? So you can't really compartmentalize. You can balance, and balance certainly doesn't mean equal, but it's one of those things where you learn that what you have to do is architect when you want to take your time. And what I mean by that is that it's not, so when you're in a regular job kind of thing, it's pretty much architected for you that the weekends are going to be where you don't work, and then during the week is when you do work. And when you hang up your own shingle, like you just said, when you're your own solopreneur or entrepreneur, every day is a work day. However, every day is also a weekend. Right. In other words, I can go, you know what, Thursday, I'm going to go to the movies, and I'm going to go hang out, and I'm going to go have lunch, and I'm going to go to the beach and whatever. So you plan and architect your days and your meetings and everything so that you can make Thursday a day that you want to do that. And that's the responsibility that you kind of have to take.
Yeah. I'm pretty rubbish at that, but I agree with you. And and so my weekend, I need to produce this podcast thing that I do, but luckily the guy that I have on the podcast doesn't throw me a curveball with having to produce loads of stuff about being in a bar in Star Trek or something. So that's got a lot simpler. Yeah. But I also have some tax stuff I need to do this weekend too. So you just reminded me. So fantastic.
I can pull that back out of the hat if you'd like. I mean, I can ruin your weekend if you'd like. I mean, it's easy enough to do. Don't you tempt me, boy.
Well, actually, I think that the whole podcasting production thing, I don't know if you found it with your podcast, has got so much easier over the years anyway with the tooling, hasn't it? So, I mean, it used to be a solid...
I do enjoy it. It's funny because weirdly, like, I do all the post-production and production on the ads that we have for our own podcast, and the video and the audio and all that kind of stuff, the music. And that tickles something in my brain. And so I love editing video and editing audio and coming up with that stuff. That feels very creative to me. It doesn't really feel like work. Yeah. So that's the kind of stuff that I do on the weekend, where it doesn't feel like work. But it is ultimately for work product. But it's ultimately something that's really fun and, enjoyable.
Yeah. That's the whole rabbit hole we could go down, is what is work, right? Because it's like when I write my Tuesday 2 cents on a Tuesday, sometimes when you're in flow and you've got a fun topic and you're having fun with it, it's not work. And then other times it's like, fuck, it's Tuesday.
Totally. 100%. I mean, it's like my newsletter, right? My newsletter either comes in, it either comes out in an hour, like I can finish it in an hour, or it's all day, right? You know what I mean? It's like, it is, you just don't know until you start.
Yeah. All right, so let's, shall we ease into the weekend with a cocktail, and maybe the alcohol will numb us and then we can't work.
Indeed. Well, and we have given this discussion, we have a nice one that we're going to work on here. It's called a corpse reliever. And in fact, it's called the corpse reliever number 2. So I guess there's a number 1 somewhere, but this was a recipe that I found, and then made, and actually just fell in love with it. Now it's a bit fancy, and it requires some, ingredients that you probably don't have laying around. Although gin is not going to be a challenge for you, but this is a gin-based drink.
Sweet.
And it started, I guess, during the Great Depression is when this drink originally was introduced. But basically, it starts with so I'm going to describe making one, and then of course just double or triple each of these parts if you're making 2. But it's basically 1 ounce of gin, then you do 1 ounce of the Lait Blanc, which isn't terribly hard to find, 1 ounce of Cointreau, And then that's, not hard to find. A little bit of, maybe, like half an ounce or so of fresh lemon juice. And then the key is, maybe a teaspoon, or I like a little more because I really love absinthe, right? So adding absinthe in there. And of course, that's going to give it, a bit of a color. Put all those ingredients into a cocktail shaker, and pour all those things together into that's probably a big martini glass, or a nice cocktail glass if you have one. You serve like a regular cocktail. Garnish with a maraschino cherry if you like, if you're into those kinds of things. Otherwise, just drink up because it's great. And the key here, in my mind, I'm kind of an absinthe snob because there's crap absinthe out there. Because it's, and the way to tell, by the way, a good absinthe from a bad absinthe is, one, price. But two, if it comes in that sort of electric blue or nuclear green or anything like that's not good absinthe. That's got dyes in it, and it's probably not that great. It looks like a dead leaf. It's got the color of a dead leaf. It's right. not pretty. And that's a great absinthe, and it's expensive. So, but that's what you want. You want the true wormwood absinthe, and that makes this drink.
The Vincent van Gogh one that makes you go blind.
Yes. That's what you want. You want that one. Which of course is a myth, but yes, it's all good. It's all.
I know. It's the good stuff.
Good. The wormwood is strong and it's fantastic. And you drink enough of it, you're going to see some shit. But it's like But you drink enough of anything and you're going to see some shit. So,
well, I really think you're going to see some shit if you put gin, LeBlanc, Cointreau in it as well. So.
Yeah, it is. I mean, look, it's not. This is not a weak drink, right? I mean, you may have been keeping up with the math there. It's like there's four fluid ounces of alcohol in this drink. So it's there's not a lot of mixer here. That lemon juice is a mixer of sorts, but there's not a lot of lemon or mixer in this. This is full on serious, let's have a nice weekend kind of drink.
Yeah. And the other thing is, because it's corpse reliever too, you've got to wonder what it's the sequel to.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
If this is the relief.
Yeah. Make a picture of these things, I think,
Yeah. And then you're definitely not working this weekend.
No, you're definitely not taking care of your admin, that's for sure. Yeah.
All right, fellas. So while we sup these up and go gently blind, I've got a question for you this week, mate. And it's on a good topic for you because the Content Marketing Institute has just released their 16th annual B2B Content and Marketing Trends Insight Report. Something I think I've been referring to in my writing for years, probably all 16 of them, maybe. And you've written that up on the Content Market. You were the editor for it this time, weren't you?
The analyst. I was the analyst that got to write the report on it. Yeah.
Yeah, you put the whole thing together, and you've put that all together on the Content Marketing Institute website, and I'll include a link to that in the show notes. But what I wanted to ask you, obviously, is there's a lot to read here, fella. What are the highlights? What's your top 3 or maybe top 1 or 2 that you took away from that?
Sure. And to be clear, there are 9 takeaways that I have in the actual report. But to your point, I did write the whole analysis for it. And it's funny because why I'm particularly proud of it this year is because it really should be called the first annual, because this is the first time that we actually completely and fundamentally rebooted the research, in 15 years.
Wow.
And the reason why was because year after year, after doing this for 15 years, what we kept noticing was and if, for those that may be new to this, it was called the B2B Content Marketing Report. And it was basically a year status of where content marketing as a strategic function in businesses sat, right? So there were lots of content strategy questions. There were lots of like, how is content marketing in your blog working for you? How is your resource center? It was, it was very B2B focused, but not B2B exclusive, really content marketing focused. And every year, I would certainly say for the last 5 to 7 years, what we noticed was there was nothing really changing, right, from year to year. And, things would go up, things would come down, things would bounce around. But basically, by setting ourselves up to measure the practice of content marketing, it is now a mature function, meaning everybody at least knows what it is, and so the struggles, the victories, and the approaches don't change a lot from year to year to year. So it is no longer sort of the innovative, disruptive thing that it was 15 years ago.
Right.
And so we decided and brainstormed, this was toward the end of 2024 actually, to change it up for this year, to fundamentally change it up and basically lean hard into B2B and lean hard into the current trends, the current disruptive trends, and just get a state of what was going on across fundamentally these different areas, these 7 or 8 different areas, such as personalization, thought leadership, experiential marketing, first party data, budget priorities for marketing full stop, account-based marketing, account-based experiences, all those kinds of things, sort of the new sort of approaches to B2B marketing and where and how people were having success with them. And AI, of course, is part of that. And so that's where we did. So all of that is to say, my biggest, we came away with some really good, I think, and for the first time in many years, really interesting results.
Right.
But I think the 2 major takeaways, if I might, one happy making, the other sort of very dispiriting and unencouraging. Was number one, basically the overall effectiveness of AI is exactly what you and I have been talking about on this show and I've talked about it in other places, which is the experimentation is fine, but the ones that are making real success, what we call the pace setters in the research, they're the ones that are not using AI to replace people, but rather using AI to get to deeper levels of content strategy, research, as a thought partner, as a creativity builder, not as a replacement for people. Now, that doesn't mean it's not happening, because in the AI section of the research, we certainly found a large number of people who were basically using it to write blog posts, using it to as a replacement for writing content, using it for all of those sort of expressing of many more ideas to scale how much content they were producing, which is sort of a bullshit, but in a very popular sort of approach. The second, which was actually more unencouraging, the biggest takeaway for me was where we talked about budget priorities toward the end of the research. And the number one shocker, AI, right? AI and new technology is the budget priority for 2026. But dead last was human oriented investment. In other words, new headcount, training, and team development was dead last in the budget priorities. And that was like, I said, my conclusion was that was the biggest opportunity I saw for businesses going into 2026 was double down on teams, because that's going to be your zig to everybody else's zag.
Yeah, and I thought that one of the things that I caught was, and a lot of the AI conversation is about scale, and a lot of, and also, it's actually, I think the budget thing is probably what people leap to with these reports every year anyway, isn't it? That's what people are benchmarking. So it's a shame to see that, to your point there. But also, I thought you made a good point about strategy beating scale, and that we need to be more purposeful about what we're doing, it seemed to me, than just doing more. That's what I caught from some of the things you were saying too.
Yeah, I think, so the number one, so it was, I believe the number one result in terms of from a content strategy perspective, the number one thing that people said that, and by the way, the total research audience here was about 1,000 responses, so 1,000 marketers in B2B.
Yeah.
And so the number one thing that they said moved the needle was actually having a content strategy and approach that focused on quality over quantity, right?
Yeah.
And so that's heartening when you see that, right, as the number one, because forever, for 16 years, in fact, we have seen the number one thing that never changed across the content marketing research that we would do is when we said, what's the number one challenge that you have? And they would say, an actual content strategy and the people to be able to do it, right? The ones that are successful actually have a content strategy. So it's sort of a reverse of the biggest challenge.
Right. So do you think is that a maturing of the discipline? Because also the slight change in name of the report, is it now suggesting that content marketing is marketing?
I think it certainly I think has a place in it. In other words, I don't think when they said it was moving the needle, I don't believe. In fact, I would say it's not. I would actually go out and to all the way out to the hyperbole and say it's not this. It's not about content marketing strategy, right? They're not. What they're saying is that they have a marketing strategy that includes content. So they're which they're sort of conflating. I think finely. I think it's fine to conflate this. Their marketing and content strategy together into saying it's a content strategy that serves marketing, and that marketing is better because they have that.
Yeah, cool. I just flicked open the report and to the bit that you were talking about there about the budget stuff, which again I think is the thing that a lot of people zoom in on in this research over the years. And you're right, like AI powered tools, 45% of B2B marketers are going to have got that in their budget. The frustrating thing I find about that conversation, I've also seen it in some Gartner and Forrester research where it's a priority for marketers to do something with AI. That's, the rest of the stuff is like, activities you would do, like paid media, owned media, and that kind of stuff. An AI powered marketing tool, why is that a priority? And that's why every vendor today has got AI slapped across their fucking...
100%. I couldn't agree with you more, right? I couldn't agree with you more. And it's one of those things where you almost have to breathe the oxygen that's in the room, right? And in other words, I totally see your point, right? Which it's a bit like saying, is electricity high on your priority list? It's like... Yeah, is typing a function that you think is going to be important in your business going forward? These are the innovation that is AI has really nothing to do with the tools, except that it's inclusive in all the tools. It's in all the platforms. It's in all the things. So it's like when you say paid media is a priority, well, AI is going to play a big role in paid media, right? When I say that social media is AI is going to play, search engine optimization. All of that has an AI undercurrent and innovation to it. And so to say, generally speaking, what people think of when you say AI in marketing is generative AI, right? Which is obviously the chatbot sort of on steroids and, content creation. And so you have to give them that option because that's the way the market is thinking right now. But I 100% agree with you that it's an annoying thing because it's like, well, who's not going to be thinking about AI in the future? Well, that's ridiculous, right?
Yeah. I saw some LinkedIn posts today of some folks that had gone to some B2B marketing tech event or something like that. And they were making the observation that every single stand had AI written on it, regardless of what it was that anybody was doing. We have to be reaching peak puffery on this shit, right? We now have to get back to talking about what is the value proposition of our products. It is not fucking AI.
You misunderestimate the bullshit of marketing, my friend. I mean, did you see Sora 2? Did you see the announcement? And fake ass video of Altman going, we're going to enable creativity that's never been enabled before. It's like, shut the fuck up, right? It's like so ridiculous. But
we only need to see on LinkedIn, the images that people are using on LinkedIn to see that some creative didn't need to be enabled.
Well, right. Creativity does not need to be enabled. It's not a problem to be solved.
I love that, man. So when people are looking for creativity that does solve a problem, where are they going to find that, mate?
I think you will not find it shocking to hear that I'm redesigning the Seventh Bear website again.
No, again.
But for now, you can go there. You could go there, but you're not going to find a lot. What I would point people to is my lovely Substack, which is way more current on thinking anyway. On my thinking. And that Substack is Seventh Bear Lens .substack.com or whatever it is, however they formulate their URLs. Go subscribe to that email newsletter. It's something I'm super proud of, and it's truly just thinking. There's no selling or marketing there. Nice.
And also robertrose.net, which I'm hoping you're
I'm happy with. That site I'm happy with. That site's good. That site's like that'll do,
Dude, I'm the same. Whenever something's finished, I'm like, I could do better. And then you see something else, like, the thing is, like, my website was a bit of a hovel. And then when I saw yours, I thought, I've got to do something about this. But
my problem is I went to McKinsey. I recently went to the McKinsey website and I went, shit, that website, that's a good website. That's like,
oh wow, yeah, they got the game.
They are clearly, speaking of marketing, branding, etc. I've always thought they were really good at it. And despite what you think about the company and their morals and all the things they do. The thing that they're really good at is branding and marketing, and their new website, it's new, like 2 or 3 months old now, I just think it's really good. I mean, it's really, really good.
I think they probably have somebody working on it that isn't just doing it in the afternoon before the Dallas Cowboys game.
Well, Shut up.
I think they have a team of Oompa Loompas that do it, man. You need I think you're, I didn't mean that as a criticism. I mean, I'm in love with Robert Rose.
But it's well taken as one, because it's like, and if I had actual money, like if there was money, I would actually hire a professional to do this. But sadly, I don't have that kind of money to be able to hire a professional. I'd have to do it all myself.
All right, mate. Well, I'll let you get out of here so you can go and play with that. And in the meantime, if we spin the dial on the interwebs, where we're going to find you?
You'll find me on LinkedIn primarily, although I am back on. I've been slowly trying to experiment a little bit more with Threads, because I hear Threads is like a thing again. So I'm coming back to Threads as well.
Oh, nice. I'll include a link to your Threads as well. So, and for me, will you be in the bar next week?
Of course.
I look forward to it, mate. I'll see you then. Thank you, Robert. As I mentioned there, it's a report I've dived into many times over the years. I'd encourage you to take a look at it. It's on contentmarketinginstitute.com, and I will include a link in the show notes. So that's a wrap on our visit to the Rose and Rockstar. Thank you for putting a dime into your podcasting jukebox, selecting our track and jiving along with us. And speaking of show notes, you can find all the links to me, Robert, in the show notes on rockstarcmo.com, where you can also find all the links to our newsletter, blog, previous episodes, and all the things. Coming up on Wednesday, Jeff and I will be in the studio, and Robert will be back in the bar on Saturday. In the meantime, I'll leave you with Robert's final thought from the research we just discussed. AI may be the oxygen in the room, but it's your people, your processes, and your portfolio of experiences that form the lungs. Exercise those well, and you won't just ride the trend, you'll have the endurance to outlast it.
You may know you're listening to this show along the Marketing Podcast Network, but did you know there are other great shows on MPN to help your business? Hennika Watkis-Porter hosts The Entrepreneurial You, empowering entrepreneurs with insights on leadership, business, and success. Hennika, tell listeners what to expect from your show.
So we provide innovative business strategies and practical solutions to common entrepreneurial challenges.
And where can people subscribe?
Find us at hennikawatkisporter.com, as well as the Marketing Podcast Network at marketingpodcasts.net, or search for it wherever you get your podcasts.
You heard her. Go subscribe. This podcast is heard along the Marketing Podcast Network. For more great marketing podcasts, visit marketingpodcasts.net.